Yes.
I read somewhere that it might be central bank spent about $6 trillion. They spent about $6 trillion last month trying to intervene in the securities market to obtain the rapid situation. This is an assessment of the factor that caused that crisis situation last month.
The bank, the governor.
Yeah. I think this is something that is reflected in the statement the governor has just made. There are global tensions, and we've acknowledged that those global tensions are affecting emerging markets. But the decision to intervene is at an individual central bank level. I don't think collectively they took a decision to intervene, but it's at an individual central bank level in terms of a reaction to the global developments.
Thank you. Yes.
Samuel Sanya, the New Vision. There's a statement that just wanted to get some clarity on. When you say that the foreign exchange market has stabilized and there's only intermittent demand surges, doesn't that also at the same time mean that economic activity is not perhaps flourishing as much as it should? Because we know that this foreign exchange market is mostly trade, it's the manufacturing industry. They're not demanding for the dollar as much as they should. It could also mean that economic activity is subdued. Is that the case?
I did mention that there are many factors affecting economic activity. So when you say also the Shiga thing, yes. Yeah, it's one.
No, I mean, when the statement says the surges basically reflect the correlation of many factors. It is partly demand. We're talking about global financial conditions are all combined in the surges Governor mentioned.
Sure. What has been the impact of the introduction of tax on credit and mobile money so far?
I think what we've seen is that there seems to have been some negative impact on mobile money transactions. But we still need time to study this.
All right.
Just one other thing. When you talk about the global economy and the issues there, we assume you're talking about the US and its policies which are affecting the global market. These reserves that we have, how many months can they cover?
About 5 months. About 5 months for future imports.
So no more questions. Please allow us to. The governor picked the media. No more questions for you. Thank you very much. So there's going to be a detailed engagement with the EPR, and for Uganda, Mr. Victor Rusembi will be answering questions representing in Uganda, and then General Waiswa will handle the Lusonga media housing. after Mr. Sajjad can also chip in and help this program. No, not General, John Awais. John Awais. John Awais.
Thank you very much.
So any questions?
Doctor, could you just break this down for us? When they talk about challenges relating to financing public investment programs, there have been failures for you to raise money for your government to spend. How is government expenditure at the moment?
No. Well, I mean, we're just starting a new financial year. But what we're saying is that in the budget talks of domestic borrowing, for example, of around 1.8 trillion shillings. Now, that is a new money for domestic borrowing. So imagine that on average, the increase in the private sector credit is around 1 trillion. But the government domestic borrowing is 1.8 trillion. So automatically, the new money for government is much higher than the new credit extension to the private sector. So that's why we're saying that yes, the money is there, but they will get trade-offs. To the extent that the government takes 1.8 and the private sector probably, and it gives more attractive yields of 14 plus, then why should you lend it to a private sector who is risky and then he still wants to borrow at 17.7%? So yeah, basically that's the challenge the government wants to raise. So to the extent that domestic financing requirement continue increasing, partly to finance public investments, the danger could be that actually, yes, there could be a trade-off in terms of crowding out private sector. Second, also in terms of foreign loans, they are not equally cheap. Remember, you have to borrow in dollars, but the government earns in shillings. So if you add that in terms of depreciation, then you can also equally have a bit of challenge in terms of how translated dollar rates into the domestic economy. So, but there are no challenges per se, but we are saying the implication, the spillover effects of that increase in finance public investment. You could have some situation, some scenario.
Two questions Number one, the government has been downplaying official risk in this state. The question is, how rational or sensible is that like a situation where you have fuel price industry inflation where the price of petrol is not at 4,000 shillings per litre and it's not going to each and every item of the market that is carried by a truck or bus. And then two, I mean, where the offshore investors are very cautious in the market. What are very effective, but we still see the support about 80% of climate debt. Instead about really potential and people that the support of our budget. And then the kind of the biggest thing to be the price of growth in the market sector. For instance, how much are banks allocated to the borrowers? How much are they collecting? And how fast are they approving borrowers?
I think, let me start with my part. On inflation risks, I think Governor really highlighted that the inflation risks are there, but with inflation peaking to between 6 and 7. Now, the only where I probably would differ from you so far is that what we saw in July is not necessarily a reflection of inflation persistence. I think the governor's statement was very clear that there are some one-off impacts we saw in July coming from OTT taxes and also taxes on fuel. Remember that the inflation for communication subsector at all in the CPI basket shot up by around 20% in the month of July from a low number in the month of June, which was basically reflecting of the OTT taxes. So we have to see those one-off from the data and then to look at the evolution or dynamics of inflation. When we see that off and look at the dynamics reflecting the economic behavior, including the exchange rate, we believe that yes, inflation will continue rising, but again, it will not go beyond the 7%. So basically, we acknowledge that inflation will continue rising, but will not exceed the 7%. In terms of currency, I think you are absolutely right. There's a lot of uncertainties in the global economy, and those are partly reflecting, impacting on our currency. I think most emerging economies are being affected by two issues. One, trade tensions, and equally, the tightening of monetary policies in some of the countries like USA. We also saw Bank of England tightening their policy, and also Bank of Canada. So those ones are offering better returns in terms of investing, rather than investing in emerging economies. So that's where we are seeing some, therefore, shifting of the portfolio off from the emerging economy. However, it is still early to judge the extent of some of those monetary policy changes globally. I think it is still early, and also it is still early on the possibility to what extent will these trade tensions really come through and affect some of the economy. So for now, the currency will remain a bit, volatile, partly reflecting those fundamentals. And I think that's also where Governor was coming from, saying that, well, even with those uncertainties, we have enough buffers. So with enough reserves, where we think that the market is behaving in an uncertain and volatile way, I think in that case the central bank can intervene to smooth out some of those issues. So that's where, overall I think, yes, we have some challenges coming from global economy, but also we have enough buffer to use in the case where we see that this is a lot of volatility that is not driven by economic.
Yes, thank you. Now, the question you asked was about status of private sector growth. Credit growth, yes.
Just a moment, please move the microphones. Thank you so much. If you can first subscribe, this will get your first screen.
And also, can I take the opportunity to mention that whenever you whisper, the mics are very sensitive. Some of you are not pointing out names on fingers, but you're whispering in the background, and the mics are picking up the voices. Please maintain silence if you don't have the microphone. If you don't have the floor, okay? Thank you.
Just to give you an idea, if you look at quarter-on-quarter growth for loans and advances, we are looking at a figure of about growth is about 1.37 trillion shillings. It's quarter-on-quarter ending June 2018. Now, in terms of allocation of credit, the banks make the decisions to allocate credit based on demand for credit. Remember, as the executive director of research said, as we see government increasingly coming to the domestic market to finance infrastructure, it means that it starts competing with the private sector for credit. So the banks now have to make a decision between lending to government, which is almost risk-free, and lending to the private sector, which has got inherent risks in those loans and advances. So I can't say a priori that there is a specific amount of credit allocated every year by the banks for lending. That's largely driven by the amount of demand that the economy has. As to the speed of approval, again, the speed of approval is a function of any particular bank's appetite for credit. For the banks that are extremely risk averse, they tend to be a bit more conservative in how they make the decision to provide credit. For those that are accommodative of much more risk, also tend to be a bit faster. So again, there's no hard and fast rule. It's a decision that the banks make based on the circumstances surrounding each credit request and their risk profile.
Those banks will come in, give their credit for the rest. So what's the kind of approach actually by the government approach?
Are they so what?
Are they so bullish about lending or not? Are they so optimistic about lending?
Again, the degree of their bullishness, if there's such a thing, is a function of their risk appetite, not their size in the economy. Okay? So for the banks you refer to, which were classified as domestic systemically important banks, again, the decision to make a loan and provide credit or extend credit is a function of their risk profile and not exactly of their size. So the bullishness will be a reflection of to what extent there exists demand for their loans in the economy. Even though we all acknowledge that there's a large amount of credit that is, how do you say, a pent-up demand for credit, but most of the credit requirements tend to be for SMEs and small scale, which the big banks have not demonstrated an ability to be able to service properly.
Thank you. Fred, is it to Dr. Kune or to India?
To executive director research.
Okay. So just
What's the outlook?
Just a moment. Can I give a moment to the media houses for those mics to move? Maybe you can ask your question as well.
From Bloomberg.
What's the likely outlook of interest rates in the economy, given the anticipated borrowing of up to 1.7 trillion shillings from the domestic market by government? And how true is it that reserves fell by 11% in the first half of the year, owing to an expenditure of up to 360 million in smoothening the forex market?
Jambo, I don't know where you got your numbers. But overall, even for the entire financial year, we had a net purchase of reserve for 17-18. We still had a net purchase of reserve coming to around 250 million. So we on overall we bought rather than what we sold. What we are talking about is that yes, we did intervene in the forest market. I think by the total of around 70 million in June. But compared to the entire period, we still had a net purchase of more than 250 million. So I don't know who gave you a number on that. So overall, we still had both reserves in the in 17-18. And even what we sold in June, we recovered in July. So if you put in July, actually, we still bought more dollars than what we are talking about. Overall, I think if we put in July, we still have basically recovered what we sold in June. So in terms of outlook for interest rate, yes, we are likely to see edging up of rates, simply because, as we have already noted, if yield is already moving in towards 14, 15, 1 year now we are talking about 14.5, 1 year treasury bill. Remember that like a year ago it was around 9%, so we are talking about 14%. So if a commercial bank is considering lending to an individual vis-a-vis holding a treasury bill at 14, obviously either it will want to charge higher premiums. Remember that the government yield is like a floor. Then they add on a premium to give to another client. So automatically, once you're talking about a 2 year now is at 15, 1 year is at 14, add on a premium of say 5 or so, we're likely to see rating rates also equally edging up. However, as we say, it also depends on the demand for credit. If the demand for credit continues growing, and also you have government coming in to borrow more, then ultimately the yields will, the interest rate will go up. Have I answered your question?
I think we have 2 more, then we close the first session.
David from the Sister Magazine.
David who?
One.
David.
The governor has mentioned that food prices are projected to remain low. And one of the areas actually is that the farmers produced more maize than that can be absorbed in the market. But the government is putting money in the banks at a rate of, and the farmers are supposed to pay interest rate of 15%. Isn't that too high for the person who produced maize and
well, I mean, I think the government had an idea of making sure that maize grain don't go below 500 shillings. And to support the process is basically to say private sector, can you buy the grain? And you get money from at 15%. So I think it is, indeed, think about it. If you're a farmer, some of us are farmers. If you have maize and the maize was going at 150 shillings per kilo, so it really doesn't make a profit sense for you to really to get back your money. So the question of government coming in to support the grain is really very good. The question is obviously where do you get the money? If it is the government, you have to borrow at 15%. To stabilize the maize prices at 500. So the question basically is opportunity cost. And it is a good innovation. But the question is sustainability and also whether eventually the farmer will respond by either producing more or producing what he produced last year. So overall, I think it's a supportable decision. The question is opportunity cost of the farm.
Thank you. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, Bernard, the last one.
So, Dr. Mugume, I mean, what's your outlook on export growth within the region? In light of the changing pattern in South Sudan, DRC, and to some extent, Tanzania.
Well, that's a very good question. Because our more than 60% of our exports go to Kenya, Rwanda, DRC, South Sudan. Actually, it is Kenya #1, where we saw last year, mainly because also of maize and beans. DRC followed by DRC, and then South Sudan and Rwanda. So we believe that some of these markets will continue growing. Even when there is security in DRC with the elections, they will still eat, so it has still grow by export. Some of the food. The question is always where do they get the money from? I was in Goma the other day, and I saw Goma was still very vibrant. I was seeing the trucks moving from Rwanda to Goma, and it looks as if it is a big market for most of the goods that fly over the region. So overall, I think the market is still there. There are some challenges. For example, I think you saw the struggle with exporting sugar to Tanzania. There are some also challenges because I think I was reading that we don't want to export grain. We want to export processed maize. Kenyans will not take processed maize because also they want the grains. So there are some of those challenges, but I think overall our export market to the region will still remain growing. Lucky enough for South Sudan, there is now peace signed, and also oil prices have increased. Because remember that 98% of their revenue comes from oil. So in that case, really former exports to South Sudan also could remain vibrant. There are challenges, yes. Overall, I think our exports will continue edging up. They may not be as vibrant as imports, but overall, I think we see continuous growth in exports. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you, Dr. Mugume. Thank you, Dr. Mugume. Thank you.